Um, how are
Yeah,
things
it's
there?
been a crazy 2 years, hey?
How are things there now?
I think most people have their third jab, so we are all walking around pretending that we are healthy and safe. Um, for example, I'm going to go for a swim in a minute in my local club, and
Wow.
everybody is swimming and saunaing and steaming with no masks or anything. So we're pretty relaxed, but we all, like everybody in Greece, we're keeping our fingers crossed.
Yeah, I believe we do also, but we have the mask and all in the streets, in the cafes, in all of the shops.
We were
Um,
very lucky. We managed to get a lot of injections done quickly, but it's been horrible. I mean, for yourself, not being able, I live by traveling. I love travel ever since I was a little boy, just going somewhere new, and to not be able to do that has been really quite hard.
I know it was quite hard to go inside Greece, not
Yeah,
outside of Greece.
yeah.
Uh, I
Um,
believe you saw the trend online live performances. What is your opinion? Is it the same to be with an actual crowd than to be opposite cameras?
no, of course, there's nothing that can replace the real crowd. We got clever, there are ways of, can you imagine only 15 years ago, there was nothing like Zoom or Skype or anything. So, it's been better than it could have been, but I've missed it. I've tried to keep my voice, in English we say memory muscle, where your hands and your voice and things, they remember how to do things. Well, if you stop doing it regularly, it's incredible how the muscles forget.
Yeah, I know what you mean. What it was like to play music in the golden years? What was it like for a new band to have a song that went to the top and stayed there for so long?
It's like an overnight success. But of course, I was 26 years old and I've been trying and failing for 10 years. So and even then, I wasn't ready for it. It happened so quickly, so big. We had a number one in nearly 20 countries, and everybody wanted a piece of us. I don't remember very much. It was so crazy that when people say to me, tell us about the show in Paris, or tell us about the radio show in Sydney, Australia, and I go, I can't remember much.
It was crazy times, though, and
They
beautiful
were.
times also.
Yeah, beautiful times. The 80s were, very good for songs, as you know. The 80s decade, it may be somebody's favorite, it may be somebody's least favorite, but it was the last decade of music before we got into kind of urban groove, dance music, proper dance music, club music. And when you can write a song to a groove, where the drums are just beautiful, and you don't have to spend so much time with the melody. But in the 80s, every song had such great big melodies so that's why they still survive all these days later.
Do you remember any live show that was the most important for you during that time?
Um, Very many. I remember playing Radio City Music Hall in New York, which is a very famous venue, and my guitarist and fellow founder of Cutting Crew, Kevin, City Music Hall meant he'd grown up in North America. He'd seen all the big shows, all the political rallies and things. So he knew, and I just thought it was another gig. But it was very funny because I remember him getting ready with me in the dressing room, and he was being sick. He was so nervous. He just couldn't stop being sick. So he realized what a big, important show it was. And one other, Mary, is in Taiwan. We played the first ever show in Taiwan where the people were allowed to stand up. And it was remarkable.
Let's talk about the song. I Just Died in Your Arms. In Greece, if I shout your name, the name of the band, they will answer by singing all the lyrics by heart. How
Yeah.
to have that song as the most played song in Greece after all this time? And what was your reaction when you got the award for the 6 million plays on USA radios?
Especially when you see the other songs that it was with, like songs from the Beatles and songs from Elton John, songs from, much longer ago. So I was very proud. It's a strange feeling, because I'm proud and I would never change a thing. The song it's a bit like my mistress, and she's also my bank manager. She is sometimes, you wish that you could have another big hit like that. But one of the strange things that happens is when we play festivals, we can be like maybe number 5 on the bill. But we play the biggest song of the evening.
Cool though.
Yeah, it is.
In 1992, you released the Compus Mentis album. Within weeks from its release, Virgin was bought by EMI. What happened to the album? It was bad timing.
It was horrible. It was us and about another 200 bands that were all signed to the underneath the umbrella of EMI. Everybody was dumped. The contracts were finished. And some bands were, not making records. Some bands were out on the road. And our timing was we literally had just finished Compus Mentis. So a whole year's work. And we gave it to we said, thank you very much. Goodbye. We don't want you anymore. So it was hard. And, one of the strange things with the music business is I said they had to pay us money for us to give them the album. And I said to them, don't give me any money. I don't want any money. Let me have my album. Let me have my songs and the recordings. And they said, no, we can't agree to that.
That's horrible. From that album, there was a song, Compus Mentis, Frigid as England. Is there a story behind that song?
Yeah, it's a very special song. It was the only song that Cutting Crew didn't write. So we were, our producer played us this funny little cassette tape of a song. And I remember saying to Kevin, this is what's such a good song. And he said, I want this. And he took charge of it. He made all the arrangements, all the keyboards, and he wouldn't let me hear it and he wouldn't let me sing it. He said, you mustn't come near it. So whilst I was singing all the other songs on the album, he just worked on this. And then he said, right, Nick, it's ready now. And you must sing it now for the first time. And I think that was the only time we ever did that. And it made the song very special. I think I sing it really well. And the lyrics are very special to me and a very lovely memory of Kevin.
In 2020, you released the album Ransomed, Healed, Restored, Forgiven, in which we are listening 9 songs, 10 if you count the 2 versions of I Just Died in Your Arms. What does that album represent?
Well, when I was a little boy, I remember sitting at the piano playing probably not very good songs that I'd written. And my granddad saying to me, if you keep trying, Nick, one day you'll be singing with an orchestra. And it took all these years for it to happen, but I finally made it. It was, we wanted to revisit some of the songs. Some of it was, I just made one rule and I said, I won't do this if it sounds like sort of, bad Saturday night television orchestra. I want it to be proper arrangements. And so the arranger said to me, do you want to be involved? And I said, well, I can't write music. He said, no, but you can give me ideas. So I would say to him, can we have this piece like Rachmaninoff? Can we have this like Tchaikovsky? Can we have this piece like Elgar? So I was involved in it. And Mary, putting the headphones on and singing with the Prague Philharmonic Orchestra, can you imagine how I felt? It was so beautiful.
How do you choose the songs and why you chose specifically the Prague and Slovenia Philharmonic Orchestras?
I don't know about the orchestras. That was through the record company. I think that they obviously have some kind of deal with them. So that's not a very interesting answer, I'm afraid. But the songs, it was quite obvious which ones I think would work. There is a new song on there, which people of Greece will completely understand. And that is that I live right on the south of England, on the seaside, about 50 miles south of London. And there is a song called Climb Aboard. And I wrote the song about what happens just 5 miles from my house, where all the migrants are trying to get into England, poor people being abused by people smugglers and dying in the sea. And it's a song with a kind of ironic lyric whereby, it's saying, climb aboard, come on, come with me, trust me, I'll give you hope and a future. And of course, they're lying and tragedy happens. So this was a brand new song that I wrote, and I'm very, very proud of it.
What is the thing that inspires you to make music?
Whiskey.
A good one?
I've always loved to write. I'm writing a book at the moment. So, even when I can't write music or be out playing it, I'm writing a book about an Irish boy who becomes obsessed with poison, and he poisons all the cats in the village. And his mother sends him away and says, you must go on a religious pilgrimage. You must walk to Spain to a special church where you will be forgiven. But unfortunately, he takes a wrong turning in France and ends up in Amsterdam and starts living with a woman who works online for the naughty stuff. So it's a wonderful book. It has absolutely nothing to do with music. And my point is that when I was a teenager, I would wake up in the middle of the night and go downstairs and, write my songs and write my words. I don't do that anymore. But when I'm writing my book now, I'm like my teenage self. I creep downstairs and get the computer out and write my book. So, I've always wanted to make things.
Very interesting story for Nick. What kind of music do you usually listen to?
I try my best to find new bands. It's always good to hear what the new stuff that's coming through, of which there's many. But classical music is really my passion. I'm learning how to really understand, what composers did and the history of it all. But if I was talking about my favorite bands, they would definitely be early Supertramp, and Tears for Fears, I thought were a sensational band. And I think one of the greatest singers ever that, if you and I went out to a karaoke bar now, you will know there's one person's songs that nobody ever sings because he was too bloody good, and that's George Michael. Yeah, he was very special. And I like I say, you don't get up and sing Careless Whisper or anything that he did. He managed to sing. I've tried, and I'm a good singer. I'm a really good singer, and I do an okay job. But he just had an effortless way of singing, and Tears for Fears, like I say, very special band. Kevin loved Tears for Fears. He would try with Cutting Crew. That's why we were a little bit different. I'm not saying we were better, but we were different. We weren't an obvious pop group. We were a pop rock band with kind of quite a few strange, weirdo songs in there. So that was Kevin's input, definitely.
What are your plans for this year? Probably to finish your book first.
I will definitely finish the book. But also we tour next month, 5 weeks time. We go on tour with another fantastic British band, Go West. We close our eyes, we never lose a thing. And they will be with us on stage at some big symphony halls as we play with an orchestra.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's exciting. Then I have in a diary in English we say penciled in. When you're not sure it's going to happen, it's written in pencil. Well, all of those shows that were pencils are now becoming ink. So Canada and Mexico, America. But the important thing I'd like to say to tell you the kind of the mood of the world of live gigs is that unless you're, very, very big, Springsteen and Bon Jovi, they can do it, whatever. But bands like Cutting Crew, the promoters are very scared of, me saying to them, I want to bring 5 people out to Athens, 2 crew and a road manager, 8 people and all this equipment. And then something COVID happens again. So they are much easier to do gigs when you play just like 2 people or 3 people. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to put together a tour of Europe and America with Gareth, my guitarist, me, and maybe a piano player. And I think it'll be beautiful to sing those songs like that.
Yeah, I wish we can see you here in Greece in your tour. That would be great for us.
Yeah, thank you. I would love to. Beautiful memories of Greece. Very, very been there many times, and lovely people.
Where? Athens, Crete? Where?
Yeah, Athens, Alexandropolis. I remember going to once. Thassos. Sometimes on holiday, sometimes just driving around. Just getting lost. When I was in my teenage, we drove from England to Istanbul in an old Citroen car with the Citroens with the big headlamps.
Yes.
And we were supposed to just drive through Greece, and we said no. I think we stayed there for 3 weeks. So beautiful memories.
Great. Thank you very much for your time. I wish we could see you here in Greece, and you will listen when you will sing that song, that specific song, that we will be all your choir.
That'd be beautiful. Yeah. Thank you. We dream, don't we? And these things will happen. I know that I'm 63 now and I still got a good voice, and I still have some of my hair and all the time I can keep doing it. I have to do it, because we have an English expression. I'm sure you have the same in Greek. You are a long time dead. All right. Nice talking to you, Mary. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a nice night.